Today we're going to learn about Andy Warhol. He was a pop artist who created colorful art about celebrities, animals, and everyday objects. He usually made multiples of the same thing. Hi guys, today we're going to be creating some art inspired by the artist Andy Warhol, and I have the supplies that we need. Really for this, you only need pencils, some colorful paper, and if you have it, chalk would be great. I'm going to be using a graphite stick, which is just the same thing at the end of a pencil. It's just a whole stick of it, so I can color much faster. And a picture that you want to trace. Andy Warhol did something called printmaking, so he could make multiple prints of the same image, and he was essentially copying things from real life, from products or pictures of celebrities and people he knew. This is my inspiration for what we're going to be making today. We are going to be making something called a chalk transfer, but instead of chalk, I'm going to be using graphite, which is just what is at the end of your pencil. So I'm going to be using this to transfer this picture onto a colorful piece of paper, and if I wanted to, I could do it a bunch of different times to make it look more like Andy Warhol's art. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take the pictures that I have. So I printed it out in black and white. If you don't have a printer and you can't print a picture, you can use a picture from a magazine or a picture that you have from a book. If you're using a picture from a magazine or a book, then what you need to do is take that picture and put it on top of another piece of paper and then do what I'm about to show you. So I'm going to take my picture, or if you're tracing a magazine picture or something, your computer paper, you're going to turn it over and you're going to take your pencil or a piece of chalk, or if you have one, a graphite stick like I'm using, and I'm going to color the back. I want to make sure that I color everywhere my person is that I'm tracing. And this does make a lot of dust, especially if you are using chalk. It will make a lot of dust. And one way you can check to see if you've colored everywhere you need to color is if your paper's thin enough. You can kind of hold it up to light. I'm holding it up to a window so I can kind of see if I've colored everywhere. Alright, so the reason I use this is so that would happen much quicker. If I was using a pencil, I would have to keep sharpening, and that's fine if you're doing this at home and you're using a regular pencil. You just have to keep sharpening it because it will get dull. Now I'm going to pick what color paper I want to transfer it to. I'm going to pick yellow. This is a picture of my daughter, and her room has yellow in it. So I'm going to flip it over and put it where I want it on my paper. You could tape it down if you don't trust yourself, if you think you're going to move it around. But what I'm going to do now is hold it. But like I said, you could tape this down. I'll move it up a little bit so you can see. And I'm going to start tracing. I might fast forward through this part just so you don't have to sit here and watch me trace for a long time. Now, this is still a little messy, so I am going to go in with my eraser. Even if you use chalk, you can use an eraser to get rid of some of the little flakes of your pencil that are left. So you can see here, this yellow one. These are printed, not traced, but it's all yellow or mostly black or gray. So what I can do now is anywhere that I'm unhappy with it, I can go back in and fix it. So I'm unhappy with the eyes, so I can go back in and work on some of those details. If you were using chalk, what I would do is trace everything with Sharpie and then go back and fix whatever you wanted to with Sharpie. So I'm going to work on fixing it the way that I want it to look. So here is my finished transfer, and I could leave it like this, or I could use some fun colors to color it in, or I could cut it out and glue it onto another color paper. Complementary colors work great for this. They are opposite colors on the color wheel. Or I could use some fun neon pastels to color it in. I'm just going to leave it like this because I was inspired by this work by Andy Warhol, but I could also use lots of different pictures and put them on different colors of paper and put them beside each other just like this. So thanks for coming.